Dee Boersma and I first encountered each other in the Galapagos Islands in the 1970s. We've roomed together on expeditions.
It's about 1.5 meters back. She's got 2 eggs.
I love the way Dee looks at the world, at life in the world, looks at her beloved penguins and treats them with such respect, really zeroes in and gets to know individual colonies, individual birds, rehabilitates nests, and is bringing back some of these critically endangered animals from what would seem to be an inevitable track to extinction.
Dee fundamentally loves penguins. The approach she's used is really to think about how penguins integrate across a variety of things that play out in the ocean. So it's a combination of being fundamentally interested in this single set of species of birds, but also in terms of what they tell us about the broader world.
She's extremely well known for this 30-year-plus data set that she has on Magellanic penguins in South America. She's able to do all of the governmental relations and soft communication and people skills that are required to get conservation accomplished on the ground, but she's really driven by the quality of science.
Dedication is a word too many of us take lightly. But few would dispute that Dee Boersma has dedicated her life to studying and saving penguins. She has worked virtually nonstop in the Galapagos Islands as well as Punta Tumbo, Argentina, home to the world's largest population of Magellanic penguins, going toe-to-toe with companies that were commercially harvesting the birds for their oil and skin.
I couldn't believe that anybody was going to harvest, Magellanic penguins. And so I went down to determine what was the population size at Punta Tumbo and could they harvest penguins in a sustainable manner. And of course, the answer to that, I knew before I went. No, you can't do that.
Dealing with Argentine bureaucracy is quite something. I think a person of lesser drive would have said, forget it, it's not worth it. She tackles things with great gusto, follows through, which is why we have detailed demographic data on the penguins at Punta Tumbo. It's one of the best demographic series of any wild animal anywhere.
Dr. Boersma's work directing the Magellanic Penguin Project at Punta Tumbo revealed that penguins were not only under assault from those harvesting them, but were also severely threatened by oil dumped at sea. She persuaded the Argentinian government to move oil tanker lanes further offshore and created the historic marine protected area at Punta Tumbo, a critical achievement that continues to protect vital ocean feeding grounds. But as sea levels rise, some of the first lessons in how habitats are affected can be learned by studying penguins where they live.
Penguins are really ocean sentinels, and they tell us a lot about the environment before you even really recognize it. Sea levels, of course, because of global climate change, are rising. Penguins nest really close to the beaches, so some of the nests that were suitable 40 years ago are now gone.
Dee is famous for getting her hands dirty. She ends up hauling literally tons of lava rock to build these huts, which serve as artificial caves for Galapagos penguins to nest in.
Dee's personality is big, it's intense. It's why she's been able to do all that she's been able to do for the penguins, for wildlife.
This is a white morph.
When you see her working with other students, you can see them all immediately become enthralled in what she's talking about because she exudes so much passion.
This 40 years ago was not a marine reserve, it is now.
Dee is the ambassador for those organisms that share the planet with us. They don't have a voice unless one of us gives them a voice. Dee has been a powerful voice for them.
I want people to change the world, and I want to make it better for wildlife and for conservation. And that's only going to be done one person at a time. All of us can do something.